This episode is sponsored in part by our friends at Rising Cloud, which I hadn't heard of before. But they're doing something vaguely interesting here. They are using AI, which is usually where my eyes glaze over and I lose attention, but they're using it to help developers be more efficient by reducing repetitive tasks. So the idea being that you can run stateless things without having to worry about scaling, placement, etc., and the rest. They claim significant cost savings, and they're able to wind up taking what you're running as it is in AWS with no changes and run it inside of their data centers that span multiple regions. I'm somewhat skeptical, but their customers seem to really like them. So that's one of those areas where I really have a hard time being too snarky about it, because when you solve a customer's problem and they get out there in public and say, we're solving a problem, it's very hard to snark about that. Multis Medical, Constructs.ai, and Stacks have seen significant results by using them, and it's worth exploring. So if you're looking for a smarter, faster, cheaper alternative to EC2, Lambda, or Batch, consider checking them out. Visit risingcloud.com/benefits. That's risingcloud.com/benefits. And be sure to tell them that I sent you, because watching people wince when you mention my name is one of the guilty pleasures of listening to this podcast. Good morning, AWS, and welcome to 2022. It's a new slate. Let's see what we can write on it. We'll round out last year's announcements first. What happened in the final week? Well, AWS announces phone number enrichments for Amazon fraud detector models, using ML under the hood, but still somehow talking about it all the damn time. Once more, for a service like this, customers care about outcomes, not how trendy the back-end systems are. Implementing hyper-personalization in the banking sector with Amazon EMR. Or how to be creepy and still miss the mark. Customers feel creeped out when they feel hyper-personalized. Further, when's the last time you got a notice from your bank that made you super glad that they sent it when they did? Exactly. Power highly resilient use cases with Amazon Redshift. The real highly resilient folks are the product managers for Redshift, who bravely soldier on in the face of Snowflake DB, eating their breakfast, lunch, second lunch, 11sies, afternoon tea, dinner, and supper. How Twilio modernized its billing platform on Amazon Aurora MySQL. Cool. Now can the AWS billing system modernize on I don't even care what database? Just make my endless hell suck less? Define application boundary using AWS resource tags in Amazon DevOps Guru. Be sure to also define work-life boundary by turning the on-call pager off. It is a brand new year, after all. CXO Insight. Reporting cybersecurity to the board. Or more honestly, how not to get fired as a CISO when you have very bad news to report. Community update for Amazon GameSparks. GameSparks, Amazon Kindle, Amazon Fire. It's time for AWS Burninate. Airports want to innovate faster. I'm not saying that airports is a focus industry for AWS right now, but the author of the post is worldwide head of airports at AWS. It's AWS, so don't worry. They still make him fly coach. This episode is sponsored in part by our friends at Chaos Search. You could run Elasticsearch or Elastic Cloud or OpenSearch, as they're calling it now, or a self-hosted Elk stack. But why? Chaos Search gives you the same API you've come to know and tolerate, along with unlimited data retention and no data movement. Just throw your data into S3 and proceed from there as you would expect. This is great for IT operations folks, for app performance monitoring, cybersecurity. If you're using Elasticsearch, consider not running Elasticsearch. They're also available now in the AWS Marketplace if you'd prefer not to go direct and have half of whatever you pay them count toward your EDP commitment. Discover what companies like Equifax, Armor Security, and Blackboard already have. To learn more, visit chaossearch.io and tell them I sent you just so you can see them facepalm yet again. Recap of reInvent 2021 for the CPG industry. I had to read all the way to the footer of this post to realize that CPG means consumer packaged goods. Are you sure that everyone working in that industry is familiar with that descriptor, AWS? Spoiler, they're not. How and when to enable session cookies with Amazon CloudWatch RUM. A key part of RUM is the concept of a session, says the Post. Yes, AWS, it very much is. That's what every other RUM vendor on the planet charges based upon, since it's at least theoretically within the customer's control. You instead continue to charge per data item, which means the next time a big CDN takes a nap, your product managers will all get to buy matching yachts. And finally, Identity Guide, Preventative Controls with AWS Identity, SCPs. I've been waiting for a good explainer on SCPs to come out for a while, and this looks like it is actually the thing I wanted. Nice. That's a promising start to 2022. Thanks for listening. I'm cloud economist Corey Quinn.
This has been a Humble Pod production. Stay humble.